Good morning, students, and welcome to the class. Today we'll continue the chapter 2 Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. So, the previous class we talked about the oath taking ceremony of the uh, and Nelson Mandela is addressing the people. So, it's as I said, the oath taking ceremony of Nelson Mandela, the first black president of South Africa. Then we also talked about then President Mandela addressed the guest. He welcomed and thanked them for having come to take possession with the people of his country for a common victory of justice, peace, and human dignity. And we also learned after the ceremony the display of military force was carried out. Finally, the jets left off smoke trail of different color like black, red, green, blue, and golden color of the new South African flag. In the end, two national anthems were sang by the white and the blacks. So later on that day, Mandela is reformed history. In the first decades of the 20th century, a few years after Angkor Bowo, before his birth, before the birth of Nelson Mandela, the white-skinned patched up their differences and erected a system of racial demonstration against the dark-skinned people of South Africa. It was the birth of apartheid, the hardest in human creation. Now, in the last decades of the 20th century, the system has been overturned forever, recognizing the rights of all people, irrespective of color, of their skin, or religion. Then he tells that it was a reign of oppression and cruelty that created a deep wound in African people. But he tells, but deep oppression produced people like Oliver, Walter, Joseph. He tells the chief lieutenants, then Brown. He speaks about then Robert and all he speaks about in the chapter. So he's telling the men of unparalleled courage, wisdom, and generosity are the product of the struggle. Mandela thinks South Africa's real wealth is her people, not as finer, truer than the purest diamond. He speaks about in that the real diamond, which are the real diamond of the country, the people of that South Africa. He comrades, his friends taught him what courage meant is. He speak about what is courage. It's not the absence of fear, but overcoming the fear. It is a reign of oppression and cruelty that created a deep wound. He speaks about, and the deep wound made people, the freedom fighters, to come up. The same way he is telling, it is not the absence of fear that victory over it. No one is born to hate another on the basis of color, skin, or religion. And he also speaks about something very great. If they can learn to hate, then why not learn to love? Which comes naturally because a person is born with the human quality of love. That same person is, if that person is taught to hate, why can't we teach that person to love? That is what he speaks about here, which comes naturally from within the person. He believes in the goodness of men that never dies. So the compassion, the generosity which he feels in the people gives him courage. Give him courage in the prison, in the jail. The little compassionate look of the people in that encouraged him to, and he speaks about in that look itself shows that humanity, humanity is still live in the country. So he believes in the goodness of men that never dies. Then here he speaks about, now we'll continue chapter. So here he speaks about two obligations. Which are the two obligations he is speaking about? Every man has twin obligations. One is towards his family and other towards his country, and people. So that's what he speaks about. We'll continue from here. So he's telling a person has got two obligations. One obligation to his country, and the second is to towards the people, to his family and people. But in a contrary, like South Africa is telling, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both those obligations. First, he speaks about a person has two obligations. Which are the two obligations a man has got? Obligation towards the family and obligation towards the country. What is your obligation? For example, your obligation is as a child, your obligation is to look after your parents, study well. This is obligations. What as Nelson Mandela is speaking about, what is the obligation of Nelson Mandela? As a good citizen, he has his obligation towards his country, South Africa, and towards the family. Now, what he is speaking, but on the but in a country like South Africa, he is telling it was almost impossible for a man of my birth. What is meant about my birth and color, like a black, fulfill both those obligations that he is speaking about. It is difficult for me to fulfill my obligation towards my country and my people. Then he speaks, in South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitable, ripped from his family and his home, and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of scarcity and rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligation as a son, brother, and a father, and a husband. So first he speaks about two obligations, obligation towards the country and obligation towards the family. So he is telling country like South Africa, it is like a person like me. Me here means as a black skinned person, it's difficult to fulfill my obligations. So he is telling a man who tried to fulfill the obligation, what will happen to him? He will be inevitably, he will be unavoidably, he will be inevitably ripped off from his family. He will be dragged out from his family and forced to live life apart. He will be forced to live alone. Then he is telling his existence will be dim. He will not be allowed to live. Who will be rebelling? Who will be speaking against, or he will be talking about the freedom, will not be allowed to live in the country. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family. Is telling as a young man, I never wanted my people to be above my family. I always give priority to my family, but attempting to serve my people. But when I tried to serve my people, when I took part in the freedom fighting, what happened to me? Is telling I found that I was prevented to fulfill my obligation as a son, as a brother, and a father, as a husband. So he's telling when I was a part of the freedom fighters, what happened? I was dragged out from my family. In the sense, he was put in the prison for 27 years. So he could not fulfill his obligation as a son, as a brother, and a father, as a husband. He's telling that's what he's speaking about here. So when I took part in the freedom, when I fulfilled my obligation towards my country, what happened? I was prevented from my obligation towards my family. So he could, a person has got two obligations to family and country. So he is telling when I chose to serve my country, what happened? I was sent out. I was prevented to fulfill my obligation towards my family. We'll continue. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast miles under the stars and ride the broad back of slow-moving bulls. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the custom of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. So here he speaks about as a child, young child, he doesn't know anything about apartheid, anything about the discrimination, nothing. As a child, he was telling, I never knew whether I had a hunger for freedom. Why? Because he was in the family, he was free to move around wherever he wanted. He used to, when he was born as a small child, as a young child, but he used to sit with his mother's hut. He used to swim in the stream. He used to roast smileys. Smileys means any grain under the star, under the sun, and he used to sit in the back of the bull and he used to ride. And then he is also speaking about, as long as I obeyed my father and the custom of my tribe, I did not have any trouble by the laws of man or God. So, as such, for example, if you follow the rules of the family, you obey your father, obey your mother, and live according to by following the rules of society, nobody will disturb you as a child. So, same thing Nelson Mandela also is experiencing. So, in the way you disobey your father will punish you. He will chase you out from the family. So, this is what he is speaking about here. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was in illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. In the transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and to go where I choose. Later, as a young man, in Johannesburg, I yearn for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my ke- of earning my keep, of marrying, having a family, the freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. So he's telling, when did he feel that his freedom was curtailed? His freedom was reduced as a young man, as a student. He's telling, in my boyhood, I never had a freedom. The childhood freedom was an illusion. It was just something that appears to be real, but it is not. Then he is telling, at first, when did he feel that as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. As you all, as a student, you want freedom to go out wherever, to take the bike, to go for a ride, to sit with your having a small birthday party with your friends. These are the freedom as a child, as a student you want. So he also is telling, as a student, I wanted freedom. What was the freedom he wanted as a student? He wanted to stay out very late, then read whatever he wanted, and wherever he wanted to go, that was he wanted. But later, as a young man, when he was in Johannesburg, when he was living in Johannesburg, he earned that his potential, his capacities his abilities were not allowed to perform. That means he was not allowed to keep his earning, or he was not allowed to marry the girl he wanted. He was not allowed to go where he wanted. So there, as a young man, he was curtailed from all his freedom, where he felt that there was interference of the law, where he felt. But when I slowly saw that not only but then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. That is when I joined the African National Congress. And that is when the hunger for my freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. So he is telling, but then I slowly saw, he noticed it was not only his freedom was curtailed, his freedom was cut, but whose is telling, Not only I was free, but my brothers and sisters were not also, they were also not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom was curtailed. Curtailed means reduced. It was not his freedom was reduced, but the people like him, all other blacks were not given freedom. Then he joined in the National Congress, and he then the freedom become the freedom of his people. It was not his freedom he was struggling, but was it was a greater hunger for the freedom of his people. Now it is not his freedom. Now it's not that he only want to. When the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. So now his attitude changes here. Up to now, he wanted his own freedom. Now he wanted his people to be free. It was the desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives, the dignity and self respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one, that drew a law abiding attorney to become a criminal, that turned a family loving husband into a man without a home, that forced a life loving man to live like a monk. So it's something very important thing. So you had this thing you have to learn properly. So here he speaks about something very great. He is telling that transformation. What is the transformation here? What is the transformation? This is a question usually come for the exam. So it's a transformation taking place. A frightened young man become a bold. A law-abiding person become a criminal. And then a family-loving husband to become a person without a home. A person live like started to live a loving man become like a monk. So he's telling the entire thing, his attitude changed. Earlier I talked about he wanted his freedom. Now he's speaking about the freedom of his people. He talked about the obligation of his family towards his family. So now, as he tried to serve his country, his obligation, the entire attitude, the entire thing changed here. He is telling, I become a freedom fighter. So what that changed me into a criminal. People called him criminal. People called him as a monk. People called him without a home. So all this adjective is added to him when he started to serve the country. I am no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedom I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. The chains of any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of them, my people were the chains on me. So he's telling, I am not a virtuous, I am not a very effective person, I am not a very self-sacrificing person than the others, those who are next to me, those who are working with me. I am not better than them. But I found one thing I noticed, what was it is noticed, I could not enjoy the poor limited freedom when my brothers and sisters, when my people are not free. He's telling, I cannot enjoy the freedom which is given to me until and unless I free my own people. So what is I know my people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. He is telling it's indivisible. It is how the chains on my people is a chain on me, and a chain on me is on my people. The chains on any one of my people, any one person is curtailed from the freedom is the chain on all of my people. If one person is not free means one black is not free means the entire society is not free. So he's something great thing he's speaking about. I know that oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Now, who is the oppressor? The person who is persecuting. Here, who is the oppressor? The white skinned people. And who is oppressed? The white skinned people. So he is telling, so both need to be liberated. How both need to be liberated? The oppressor is liberated. Surely the oppressed is liberated because he is oppressed. But the oppressor, how is the oppressor? The persecutor is liberated. He is speaking the next. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. So he's telling the persecutor is a prisoner of hatred. So he also need to be freed. And the person who is oppressed by the person also is need to be freed. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice. Prejudice means a strong dislike without any reason, without any low mentality, having a low mentality, a dislike towards any other person without having any reason. So he's telling, so that person need to be freed from the prejudice and the narrow-mindedness. The oppressor, the persecutor need to be freed from prejudice and narrow-mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom. Just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. So both the ways speaking, if that person is the persecutor is not free because he is behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness, and the other person is not free because his freedom is taken away. I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed out of their humanity. So he's telling both of them don't have the quality of humanity. So both need to be freed. This the chapter is. So this last paragraph is very important. So learn that. If you have any doubt, you can verify with me. The last portion I'll just summarize to you, which I have taught just now. So he is talking about two obligations. Which are the two obligations? He is telling every man has two obligations. One is towards his family and other towards the people and country. So in the region of apartheid like South Africa, he is talking about he tried to fulfill his duty towards his people, but he was ripped off his family and home. Then he is talking about Nelson Mandela said he was born free. He had the freedom to run in the fields, swim in the stream, to ride on the bull. So boyhood freedom was an illusion. It was just a dream like. As a student, he wanted transitory freedom. Transitory means not permanent. Transitory freedom he wanted. A freedom to stay out at night or to read books of his choice. As a young man, he yearned for basic honorable freedom of achieving his potential, of earning his keep, of marrying and having a family. So then the last portion he speaks about started the hunger for freedom started when he became a young man. When he joined the African National Congress, parties increased. First, he wanted freedom only for himself, but then he started feeling hunger for freedom of all his people and his country. So both now he is speaking about oppressed and oppressor. Oppressed means oppressed, the person is persecuted. The oppressor means the person who is persecuting. So both need to be liberated. The oppressor is a prisoner of hatred, prejudice and narrow-mindedness, and the oppressor and the oppressed both are robbed of their humanity. So something very great he is speaking about in the last portion of the chapter. So revise, learn. So it's a very important chapter. So you will have questions from this. Big question like how did the desire of the freedom of his people change Nelson Mandela's life? That is the last portion. How it changed. How it animated his life. He's speaking about here. This is the one. Answer is the desire of freedom. A desire is a law-abiding person. This question comes usually. So learn that. Then how did Nelson Mandela describe the scene of the inauguration? The oath taking ceremony, where it is held and who took oath first, all that thing is the answer. So read, revise. If you have any doubt, verify with me.